What's the worst tattoo you've ever seen?
You know those little leprechauns with the punchy fists?
Really?
Yeah. They're just such a fucking I got this in Santa Ponza tattoo.
Nothing wrong with that.
I know.
Not that I've ever had one, but you know.
Yeah. No, I
Santa
just...
Ponza's a tattoo, that is.
When I see that on the side of somebody's arm, I'm like... Ugh.
Do you remember the mom? The heart with the mom?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you ever feel like that's going to come back into fashion, though?
I don't know.
Like, ironically. Did Miley Cyrus or someone do some shit like that?
No idea. I don't pay enough attention to Miley Cyrus to...
Rude of you. It's rude of you.
Miley fucking Cyrus.
It's rude. It's Destiny Ray Hope Cyrus to you. That's her real name.
What?
Yeah. She legally changed her name when she was like 17.
To that?
No, that was her name. That was what she was born. As in Billy Ray and her mum, whatever her name is, called her Destiny Ray Cyrus.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Put some respect on her name.
Very welcome along to the Unpopular Opinion podcast. My name is Jen.
And I am your furrer, Carla.
Furrer?
Carla. The furrer. That's me.
We had a lot of laughs about the furrer last week.
We did, yeah. People had a lot of laughs about it. I think they found it.
They found the furrer. I think it's because we said it so many times.
The furrer?
The furrer.
The furrer.
The furrer.
Mine the furrer.
Furrer.
Which, funny enough, brings me on to our topic.
Yeah. What's it about, Carla?
We are talking about racism and diversity in media and Irish media this week is what we're talking about. To get very tupperty on you.
Yeah, to get very tupperty on you.
Very tupperty.
Very fucking tupperty.
So we'll start off with now definition. This is from the dictionary. So, racism, the belief that all members of each race possess characteristics, abilities or qualities specific to that race, especially so as to distinguish it as inferior or superior to another race or races.
Okay. And so obviously we've gotten a few opinions from different people, and discrimination and racism kind of tend to
go hand in hand, but they're not the same thing.
They're not the same thing, yeah. But I think a few people were
you can discriminate against like a sexuality, but you can't be racist towards a sexuality or
exactly, yeah. Now, I've learned a bit here because we were only talking about this and Carla was telling me about the definition of racism that it is. I always thought it was the hatred of somebody because of their colour or their skin. Because I'm pretty sure when I looked it up before, that's what I saw. And I was like, that's a very neat blanket over what racism is. But obviously, it's a hell of a lot more complex than that.
Definitely. And I think that a lot of the times people don't not that they don't realise that they're being racist, but like it can be an inherited thing as well. It can be something that they didn't realise was wrong. So to say hatred, I don't think that would be accurate because it's not, that would be like your KKK. You know?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I always thought that racism was like, you'd just say, for instance, and obviously this is not how I feel, but say for instance, I didn't like black people and I just went at them because of the colour of their skin. That's what I always thought it was.
Well, that is racism, yeah. Obviously.
And then I thought that discrimination was a different thing altogether. Like the definition that you just gave there is saying like given characteristics of like thinking one characteristic of one black person is a blanket for the whole lot of all of the black people.
Yeah, well, if you're going to make, like, I mean, I think what they're trying to say is that if you're going to make a statement and say it's because of their colour, you'd think that about everyone in that race, do you get me? So, like, if you were going to say something, like, really racist about, like, a feature or anything along those lines, you're, like, you couldn't be like, well, that's because they're black. Yeah. Do you get me? So, and you'd be like, well, they're black, so.
Yeah. How do you think Ireland is as it stands
where we're
in
at,
2019? Like? Yeah, where do you think we're at?
I think we're almost like, and I think I'm going to get a lot of kickback on this, but I think we're 50-50.
Okay.
I think the older generations are really stuck in their ways. We discussed this before on the, what was the podcast called? was our own one.
Oh, political correctness.
Yeah, we discussed a little bit this before, but we didn't actually go deeper into it, and that's why we're here today. But I feel like Ireland is quite 50-50. I feel like there's a lot of older generations that believe that, like, they it's kind of just what they were brought up with the media and all that other stuff. But, like, let's not forget, like, slavery, that stopped in the 60s.
Yeah.
It's not that fucking long ago. My dad was alive.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, if you think about it that way, like, if anybody in their 60s or late, you know, anybody in their 50s or 60s were alive when these things were, lynching was still happening and anything along those lines.
Yeah.
You know, so it just wasn't so widespread.
Yeah.
And I think there's been a lot of different things that have kind of taken away from it. Obviously, we had World War II. I mean, if you're going as far as Ireland goes, you've got kind of our own problems. So, and again, I think this is not quite a wild thing to say, but I feel like sometimes Irish people, considering, like, older Irish people, they were seen as so inferior that they almost liked having somebody less inferior to them.
Okay.
And that's how it kind of bred a lot of racism in the country.
Yeah.
Because it was almost like, we're not the worst in the, like, we're, like, you have to remember, Brits still call us fucking paddies. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, there's not so much sinister behind it, but I do feel like, you know, minorities almost get, like, a kick of someone being almost an under minority to them again.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of, like, in America, a lot of Latinas feel this way, a lot of kind of ethnic groups, Afro-ethnic groups and anything along those lines. Mm-hmm. But I do think it's something that kind of breeds. It just breeds, doesn't it? That's what it does. Yeah. That's the only word for it. It just breeds.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
Definitely. I kind of feel like that as well. And then I also feel like Ireland, like the real Ireland's only, 100 years old? 105 years old since, like...
The real Ireland.
The real Ireland. The Republic. And
Shucky Ireland.
I think I can still remember seeing my first black person.
Can you?
Yeah.
I can't.
I can. It was in school, and it was when actually first it was in primary school. Yeah, starting primary school and then kind of fed into secondary school. So this was like 15 years ago when people started emigrating over from Nigeria. And I can still remember seeing like in fairness, I had a little. Well, she was kind of a first generation Irish, like she had an Irish accent and everything. Like there are people who have been here for fucking years.
Yeah.
They've all, like, you know, the Irish accents and stuff. Yeah, but I mean, when it really people started emigrating here, it was only about 15 years ago. So I still think it's quite new to us, and it's still, we have a fucking long way to go, I think.
Oh yeah, no, we definitely do. I mean, it's
really
even
do.
But this is what I'm saying, between people not understanding, like, what they're saying is harmful. Like, a lot of times, like, I'm just going to give you an example. I've had a couple of taxi drivers. For some reason, it's the chat that gets bred in a taxi for some reason.
Yeah.
And he was like, sure, some, like, oh, you know, it's mad, like, going down to me local, this Chinese fella with an Irish accent.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because they're Irish, you think?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I'm like, Iggy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Iggy?
Yeah, I know. It's the thing, but the thing is as well, and I'm gonna say the other side of it there. Sometimes you do, because, like I said, the people immigrating over here is still such a new thing. We're kind of only getting into it now.
We're getting into it now, yeah.
Where there are first generation people coming, like, you know. Like, you see it now with the teenagers and the kids and that, you know, like, everybody has an Irish accent now, but 15 years ago they didn't. Yeah. So it's still a bit, sometimes when you're about to speak to somebody and they're a person of colour, or they're Asian, or they're Spanish, and they have an Irish accent, sometimes you do kind of go, oh, do you know, there is that kind of thing, like, oh, they're actually Irish. Do you know what I mean? I think that still happens.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm not saying that I do you know what I mean? I'm just saying that there can be, like, it's still so new. It's hard to kind of explain it in words, but it's still, I think it's still very it is much
new. I will say it is new. Like, I had, what did I have? I had maybe one Asian girl in my class,
right,
and maybe one girl who wore a hijab,
right,
and that was about it for my whole school, for the whole of school, until I went to the institute, and then there was a lot more diversity, but that's because I went from being in a secondary school that had like 500 students to being in a year that had 500 students, and then sixth year had over 1,000 students. So you kind of, obviously you're almost, and it's in the middle of town, you know, it's not in fucking Castleknock, so you're kind of, you're thinking about something totally different there.
Yeah.
But I will say that, like, it is still relatively new.
It is,
but it's great because kids don't see colour.
I think it's fucking brilliant. I love seeing diversity in, even in social circles, like just even driving down the road or where I live, I'm kind of the last road in my estate, so there's a big field behind us and all the teenagers are fucking hanging around outside my bedroom. During the summer, I leave that there, but literally you look out and it's just such a mixture. It's amazing to see. I love seeing it. Do you know what I mean?
But it's nice. It makes the country seem better. Yeah, you know what I mean? It seemed more welcoming, seemed more kind of like culturally diverse. Like, this is what we're moving forward. And I think people that have issues with racism, I'm like, you will eventually be stamped out. You do get that. Yeah. Like, you know, you can resist and you can resist and you can resist. I will get you in the end. You know what I mean? But like, I think it is just the way that you think. Like, we all have racist thoughts as Caucasian white people because of the way that we've been brought up and bred in the media. And that's just how it is. And, like, you will always find, you know, the way that, like, I always bring it back to this, but, like, you know, like, sex clubs and, like, weird fetish clubs and all that other stuff. You're always going to find someone who loves that, like, hick KKK kind of mentality. That's going to appeal to someone.
I know, yeah.
Because it appealed to one person for it to appeal enough. Like, there's fucking flat earthers out there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there are groups of people.
There's groups of people that do weird shit, believe weird shit, like... If you ever watch Dark Tourist, I recommend it. Your man, the presenter, he's New Zealand, but it's kind of boring. But the stuff that he does, like, he goes to like really weird places that believe really weird things. And like, there was one section, the America one was actually quite wild. And he went to like a group of people that thought they were vampires.
Okay.
And fully believed that they were vampires.
That's probably because they drink cups of blood, is it?
Oh no, they drink each other's blood. It's so fucking weird, and it's like rituals, and it's so strange. And he kind of delves deeper into it, but he goes to like other places, like goes to Kazakhstan, goes to loads of kind of he goes to, is it called Fukushima?
Oh yeah,
can't remember that place in Japan. Fukushima. Yeah, the chemical place. But he like tries to get in and stuff, and they're like, no, sir, no, come back here. So that is interesting if you're into that. Now I will say he is so monotonous, but his content's great. So if you're into kind of seeing strange things like that, but he goes into it, and you can relate that straight back to racism, because there will always be people who believe that way. Yeah. But we will eventually make it so that it's strange.
Hopefully.
No, we'll get there. Yeah. But as I said, like, slavery was only like black slavery in America where it was the most covered, I would say. The most people knew about and still know about. That was like, that's 60s. That's not that fucking long ago.
No, it's definitely not. That's what I'm saying. It's still so new that we're living in a generation where it is changing. Yeah. And like I just said there, hopefully it's getting to a place where it's not going to be a topic anymore. Yeah. There's so many things I feel in today's society that shouldn't be topics, but we're living in a generation that are making the change. So we might not see it a time where it's not going to be a topic. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because we're doing the things, we're speaking about the things, trying to eradicate the things that we don't want to be topics anymore. So like, it's kind of I don't know, like I've had many heated conversations with people. Like, there are fine lines between things as well, because there are people out there that advocate, there isn't enough diversity in Irish media and that. But at the same time, it's you do need to think about it. We are a majorly white country. Yeah, we're a majority Caucasian. Our media has been set in stone. Like, you know, you don't get new fucking presenters every day. Like, it is coming, but just like stop forcing it down people's throats as well. Like, we are a white country at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? I understand that people want to feel represented. That's absolutely absolutely dead right. But there are people who absolutely ham in on it, and it's like it's everybody's fault that there's not like enough black. What? Like who? I can think of a certain blogger, but there's people that just fucking drill it in. It's like there's not enough people in there's not enough diversity in Irish media, and it's like,
well, there isn't. That's like that's a blanket statement.
No, there isn't. But like, we're getting there, so you know what I mean. I think we're doing the things that are making the changes, but I think there's ways to go about it as well. There are people who are fighting for this, and it's like, you're not going to get anywhere by being like that, hon.
Yeah.
They're just very, very argumentative, and they're just very, I'm going to shut you down if you try and even say that Irish people are white. Do you know what I mean?
I feel you.
You know what I mean?
Now, I will say about this podcast, lads, we're both Caucasian.
Oh, yeah.
White,
so, like, we don't know
blonde hair. Jen's got blue eyes. I mean, I'm different. I've got brown eyes. But, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're very whitewashed. We won't ever be able to not...
Yeah.
Like, we won't ever be able to fight this 100%.
No. And we also
accurately.
don't know what it feels like not to be represented in Irish media, which I'd say is frustrating. Absolutely.
Well, I kind of do. Where's the last plus-size person that you saw doing fucking anything other than the two people?
What, in Irish media?
Yeah.
I can't say, no.
The last thing I saw was Nadine Reid on the cover of Stellar, I think it was.
Right.
But Stellar's, she's an expose presenter, and Stellar's they're all owned by the same media, aren't they?
Okay.
They're all like one and the same. But again, I mean, I could fucking talk all day about weight, but I won't. But that was probably it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to word this correctly. Do you feel that like different races in Irish media, do you feel like that is something that people, when it does happen, should like scream, shout and shake it all about? Well, like really celebrate?
Like with anything that's kind of making a change these days, like look at Pride, do you know what I mean? Obviously gay people were oppressed for years. It's the same with the likes of, well, see, I don't know, because Ireland is such a whitewashed country, and now it's beginning to change. This might be a very ignorant thing for me to say, but does it apply here, black oppression? I don't think it does, because we never, like I said, black people emigrating here is so fucking new. I don't think there was as much oppression, like say in the likes of America. Obviously,
I mean, there's definitely oppression, but it obviously wouldn't be on the same scale as somewhere that had like a predominantly larger population.
Exactly, yeah. So I just think it shouldn't be a topic anymore. Do you know what
this is kind of where I sit with that, because I'm kind of on the same lines as you. Not that it shouldn't be a topic. Like, I'm all about the fact that if we celebrate these things, but if we're celebrating them and kind of singling them out, it's saying that they weren't right. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it saying that they weren't right to begin with, or is it saying, do you get me? Like, oh my god, this is amazing. There's a plus size black woman on the cover of a magazine, and it's like, yeah, as it should be.
Yeah.
Do you get me? I'm like, yeah, and dead right.
Exactly. Yeah.
She's on there for her accomplishment. She's not on there. Like that's like people should be seen as the way that they're kind of seen, but then at the same time you do kind of have to celebrate these things, because you have to bring notoriety to the fact that these things are normal and should be happening.
Yeah,
you know. So it's kind of like, as far as that goes, I am on the fence.
Yeah, I think I'm the same as well. Well, I know you're saying about black and plus size, but like, say, to put it as a general blanket, just because we're talking about racism here, like I said, it's very hard to say. Would you shake it all about black people in the media, because like that's still so fucking new, and it is happening. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not as if black people were shut out of the media purposely. They never were.
But
do you know what I mean?
We probably did lean toward, like, I mean, as far as Ireland goes, this is the way that it is. If somebody's blonde and skinny, we make them popular, and that's just it. They don't even have to have a fucking fleck about them at this point in time. They are literally like what people are, well, what people seem to be all over, and what they want to see, you know? Yeah.
Or is it... I tend to disagree with that as well, because you're talking about the producers and the people in charge in these media outlets. Like, it's a very small minority of people. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you were to put it to the public, who do you want to present this? I can guarantee our presenters will be very fucking different. I think to blame are the people in charge in these media outlets.
I mean, 100%, definitely. And I think that media is so small, everyone's looking out for their friends. Just like if I happen to be mates with an actor person that needed somebody, I'd recommend you. Do you know what I mean? I get it. I get that people run in circles and things run in circles. But like, as far as diversity goes, I mean, it's iconic to see racial diversity, considering we're not even seeing Caucasian diversity. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, we barely see anybody that isn't like from a certain place with a certain accent, with a certain
you know,
what I mean?
See somebody,
with a certain upbringing. You'd never see someone from fucking Finglas running the Expose gig, like
no,
you just wouldn't.
Not nobody with my accent, like exactly. And not even on radio.
Yeah, but again, I mean, we could go into that for fucking hours, but
yeah.
I think we've said this before about Ireland. We have our one presenter and we have our one radio host and we have our one photographer.
It's such a small world as well. Not that it's such a small world, but it just seems to be the same fucking people get the gigs all the time. Yeah. Like Lucy Kennedy is on fucking everything. Do you know what I mean? Darren Gary is getting that way. She's nearly going to be on fucking everything. Yeah. It's the same presenters. It's not that there's not enough diversity. It's just the same people getting the same fucking gigs. And it's because of popularity.
Yeah. And I think it's also from people being lazy in their jobs. And I said this in the... wasn't in Body Positivity. Was it? It's in one of the other podcasts. One of the many ones. Can't even fucking remember.
We're on episode 14 now.
Yeah, literally. I have no fucking clue. But I've lost my train of thought now. What was I saying?
People being lazy in their jobs.
People are being lazy in their jobs. I've seen this before, yeah. People are lazy in their jobs. They see one person, that's worked, perfect, we'll put her on our show now.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely, she did that RTE gig, she can do a TV3 one now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, it is.
It's just like I saw her once, but instead of being like, met this girl at an event, she's a lot about her, maybe we get her in for like to see if she'd work, or you know what I mean. And that's why like I champion Claire Balding so much, because she's kind of like, she was just a normal girl, you know, living in Marino, family, anything like that. And that's why like people like you, I champion them, but I champion people that are a little bit different, like when you did the credit union ad, and you know, when I hear different kind of people on the media, I just saw Emma Doran was in FM 104, like that. I like that, do you know? Yeah. But then that's what I like.
That's
and
it.
I don't mean that that's what everybody like.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think it. And I'm not saying as well. I agree with you, but I'm not saying that like the people that are doing these jobs aren't human. It's like,
are they human?
No, like obviously
next week on the podcast, AI.
Obviously, they're going to be like they're fucking human. They're going to be normal at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? It's not that they're not relatable in any sort of way. It's just that there's no new fresh blood coming in at all. Now, so how the fuck are we going to start making it more diverse now? Do you know what I mean? When they're not even...
Yeah.
You know, like it's just a...
They're not even diverse amongst the 4 people that they use.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just not willing to fucking change. You just go with what's safe and that's it. That's why Irish media makes me cringe a lot. Like RTE... Virgin Media, like a lot of our presenters and a lot of our talent, I feel like it's just stale now at this stage. It's so stale. I would fucking love to see fresh meat coming in, like no matter what the fucking size, colour or accent, do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I would love to see a bit more diversity in all aspects of it.
I mean, let's hear a little bit from you guys, because you had some opinions. So I've one here. Hey, I love the podcast, look forward to every week. The thing about racism is that people pick and choose what kind of racism they're outraged about. I've lots of friends who are travellers, and the blatant racism they deal with all the time is horrible, from pubs, hotels, giving excuses, not letting people in. Anytime there's anything in the news about them needing homes or halting sites, the online comment section are disgusting. But the same people saying the nasty comments would be the very ones protesting that if it was done to any other ethnic minority. There is some racism towards different nationalities, but it's because our government looks after them a lot better than it does us. Divide and conquer shit. Anyway, love the podcast, can't wait to hear this one. Right. Okay, so first of all, you can't be racist toward...
You can. They're a race.
Oh, did we do this before?
Yeah. That's the thing. That's what I was saying to you about that definition.
But that is discrimination. I mean, discrimination is different.
Yeah, but it's discrimination against that ethnic group. They are an ethnic group. Travellers are an ethnic group. They're recognised as an ethnic group. That's the thing. You can be. That's why I was so confused by the blanket statement. I thought it was a skin colour.
That's a definition though from the dictionary. So that's
yeah.
Still, you know.
No, but that's why I was like, what the fuck? I was so confused going into this. Like, and
but I think
was like, cop on, hun.
Yeah, I know. I literally was like, right, well, we're about to record, so.
But like, no, it is, and I would have to agree. Like, there are, I know, travellers who would absolutely wreck the place on you, and I know travellers who aren't like that at all, and they're fucking scarlet for the people who represent them in that way.
Yeah, like I just think that they like a lot of the ones that I've met anyway, the ones that I've been around and the ones that I've hung around with, that's just their, like, they have a way of life. That's like how they live. So,
but it's like but
it's the same as fucking anyone. If your way of life doesn't, do you know what I mean?
Exactly, it's the same as any ethnic group. Like, one person could be an absolute fuckbag, but it doesn't represent the whole ethnic group. Like, I think that's a very ignorant thing. Like, if, say, you have a family of travellers who go, they book a wedding or they're in a hotel or whatever, they absolutely wreck the place and they've ruined it for all other travellers there. But realistically, like, if you were to get a family in who weren't travellers, who were just from fucking, like, Southside Dublin, who went in and wrecked a hotel, like, you wouldn't get other people from Southside Dublin being told no by a hotel, but you do get it in the travelling community.
So I'm on the Irish Traveller Movement website.
Okay.
And it says, anti-traveller racism. Sadly, part of travellers' daily lives... Oh, hold on. I see Brophy trying to call me. 2 moments. Sadly, part of travellers' daily lives is their experience of racism, denial of their identity, direct discrimination and indirect discrimination. While this does not define travellers, the belief that travellers are not a separate ethnic group and attempts to stop travellers being travellers is the key driver that creates the issues travellers face in Ireland today in terms of accommodation, education, employment, health and mental health.
Yeah.
So it says underneath, what is racism? Racism is a belief that one group of people is superior to another. It accounts for people believing that differences in character or ability are due to someone's ethnicity. It can manifest itself both individual and institutional forms. Individual racism is often easier to establish.
Okay.
I don't feel like that's cleared anything up for me.
No.
I think it just, I would call things discrimination, I would call things racist.
But what you see, what is said there in the middle of that was that people struggle to identify travellers as an ethnic group, but they are.
But is that racism or is that discrimination?
No, it is racism because it's an ethnic group. It's not got to do with skin colour, it's got to do with ethnicity.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Superior to an
I think it would
group.
fall in the discrimination category. I don't think it would be falling so much in the racism category.
Well, I mean, you're given travellers a characteristic of being rowdy. You're not going to let them rent your hotel because that was in the definition. So it's given them characteristics as an ethnic group that this is what they do.
So they have another one saying individual racism. At a simple level, individual racism is prejudice, discrimination or antagonism. I'm like, truly like, what is that word? Do you ever get them words and I'm like, hold on, I'm a good reader. Like, why did I just stop there? Directed against someone of a different ethnicity based on a belief that one's own ethnicity is superior. For individual acts of anti-traveller racism, examples would be,
okay,
which I love an example, an e.g.
Yeah.
Denying travellers access to a pub or shop, online hate speech, physical or emotional abuse based on someone's identity, traveller children being bullied in schools, travellers not being called for interview for jobs based on their address, non-travellers campaigning against sites being built in their locality. Individual racism can, in theory, be challenged by legal means, for example, by the Equal Status Act.
Okay.
So that's where we get into the law things.
Yeah.
Because being racist isn't illegal.
No.
Discriminating is.
Yeah. Which I think...
fucking saucy.
It's kind of a blurred line, though, isn't it? Like
blurred lines.
Yeah, like it could turn you being racist into discriminating. Like, you know what I mean? I think racist is the opinion, discriminating is the action. Like, you're actually stopping somebody from doing something, or you're... Do you know what I mean?
So you think, like, discrimination is being vocal?
Yeah, or taking action, like...
But a lot of discrimination happens in private.
Yeah.
Like, if I was interviewing you, white, 30, blonde woman, versus black, 55, pregnant,
yeah,
like, woman, do you get me?
Yeah.
I was going to say man. I was like, pregnant man. And being like, well, I'll go, even though he's more qualified, I'm going to go with the...
Yeah.
Because that's what I know.
Because that's what I know, yeah. I suppose, yeah.
I mean, this is a super deep topic, and it's gonna be a difficult one to navigate. But like, we're in it together, lads.
I'm already finding this hard to navigate. I really am. I would have loved, and obviously it's our own fault again because Carla's just fucking off to Tomorrowland tomorrow. So
no, sorry, that's my fault. We record on Wednesdays, Jen. We had loads of time.
Last minute, Betty. Last night I was by asking, and we didn't get. Did we get any replies from anybody in
minority?
Yeah. I don't think we did.
I don't think we did.
It's very hard for us to be able to say, oh, this is what happens. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe we'll do one for the Patreon.
Maybe we will.
We'll ask somebody to come on.
We have another text here on the WhatsApp. Gonna be obviously keeping these all anonymous.
Yeah, hello, 100%.
Hello, ladies. Wavy hand. That was the emoji. I'm a secondary school teacher in a large multicultural school. We have about 50 different nationalities. Many of the kids are first gen Irish.
50?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Yeah. That's a saucy school.
The reaction I get when I tell people I work in this school is that, oh, is that the foreigner school? If I'm telling a story about a student, they will say, oh, were they Irish? Yeah. This grinds my gears. I'm white and I'm very aware of my white privilege. Some of our black students have told me stories of them being targeted by the Gardaí when they were out. I know a lot of students of colour don't feel represented in the school. Our whole staff are white. I think Ireland is learning, but we have a long way to go. Completely agree. We have also a high number of Muslim students, and again, this comes with an assumption from people that all the girls are oppressed and that the boys run amok. This can be true, but shockingly enough, it's true for Irish boys too. I try challenge them, the quote unquote them and us stereotypes when I come across them, and may have been guilty of certain preconceived ideas myself in the past, but the big thing is that people need to hear is that we're all just people, no matter what colour or creed you are. No one is better than you, and you are better than nobody else, which I completely agree with. This is what my whole thing about, I hope this is gonna be a non-topic, is that we're all just fucking people.
Well, there's a couple of pressure points there, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's also about an all-white faculty. Like, that will change.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And kids, I mean, it's just the way that we're wired. You remember what it was when you were a kid? Like, my fucking swimming instructor I thought was the coolest person ever. Do you know, it's just the way that you're attuned and what you are surrounded by. Yeah. So if we're surrounded by this way, but also lads, like, kids, I don't believe see colour, but they don't fucking lick it off a stone either. So something's happening for them to come in and say something mean about little Johnny. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And like kind of start that narrative. Yeah. And obviously things spread like wildfire, no matter what. And like you can put that down to anything, like telling kids tooth fairy's real, going to school, that kind of shit. Like, so where, like, is it something, do we bring it, like, what way do we tackle it? And me again, Carla, and the education, I'm like, we tackle this with education. It's where I was really into education.
But then you have a full white faculty as well.
But that will change. Like, if she's just after saying there's 50 different nationalities in her school, and that's her school alone. Yeah. Like, the jobs will change, things will change. Industries that were a predominantly white industry will now start to filter out, which is what we're looking for and what we're needing.
You can already see it in the guards.
You can already see it in England.
Yeah.
In England, it's really, really, like, starting to get to a point, but you have to remember, again, and this is bringing it back to the situation with, like, when we were talking about, like, groups and all that other kind of stuff. England's huge.
Yeah.
It's fucking, how much bigger is it? Like, in Ireland we've nearly 6 million people in the whole of Ireland. They've 17 million or something in London alone.
Yeah.
So there's the difference. Huge. Whereas when you go up and up and up and up, things start to filter. Groups start to get smaller. I know, like, a lot of people say northerners aren't so much northern people in England, a lot of groups there, but it could be the same as anywhere. Do you know what I mean?
I feel though, like, England and kind of the south kind of end of England are like leaps and bounds ahead of us in terms of diversity. Yeah. They really fucking are. Like, you'd never actually, and it comes back to what I was saying about first gen. Like, if you see a black person with an English accent, you don't blink. You're literally like, oh, Idris Elba. Yeah, but exactly. But then if you saw that in Ireland, if you saw a man of Idris Elba's age with a Dublin accent, you'd be like, what? That's what I mean. It's still so fucking new. We're not at that point yet. That's what I mean. Okay. Do you know what I mean? So you're looking at people coming into Irish media, you're looking at, like, teaching faculty coming in, you're looking at the guards coming in. This is only starting for us.
What age is Idris Elba? 40?
Oh yeah, he's hitting 50.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But if, like, that's just not after happening in Ireland now. This is my point about it. Like, there's so many.
So why is it so normal? You take a fucking 45-minute flight and you're like, everything is different.
Yeah, I know.
Everything's really normal.
I know.
I don't see, like, but that's what I'm saying. Do we be like, that's brilliant, or do we be like, that's normal? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, but that's what I mean.
Oh, that's great.
I think
but it's not
normal.
great. It's fucking normal. Do you know what I mean?
Normal.
I'm like, no, it's normal.
But again, it's just Ireland being as fucking in the past as we are. It's the same as the Catholic Church. We're fucking years behind everywhere else.
I don't want to blame everything on the older generation, because I do feel like, I mean, even with a couple of people that I know or have hang out with, like, they say fucking racist stuff to get a reaction, to be funny.
That's it, yeah.
And like, people still laugh.
Yeah.
You know, and like, oh, I don't know.
Yes.
It's like, it's difficult. Anyway, back to you guys.
It is, yeah.
Back to you guys.
Give me another opinion there. There's a few. Was there an opinion? Oh yeah, what was that message that you read out about the government treating some people are racist because immigrants are treated as, was it better than it quote unquote its own? Because I do know that, like, we all hear those stories, you don't know how fucking true they are, of immigrants, doesn't matter what country they're from, don't give a shit. They're immigrants, they're people from different countries, they weren't born here, they're coming over here. But you hear those stories of, oh, that person came over because their friend told them that they get a lot of benefits over here.
Oh, that kind of stuff.
You know, you always hear those stories.
I think there's somebody here, but I have another person who's going back to the kind of old age situation here.
Yeah.
So I think racism is a big problem, but it just gets overlooked. I've mostly only ever heard people from the older generation pass remarks, and they just say, I'm not racist, after they pass a racist remark to make it seem
I'm
okay.
not racist, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not racist, but.
Yeah.
And isn't that funny, because I'm just going to bring this back to Love Island for a little second, but Fanula J was saying, like, when Michael was making the report, I'm sorry but like, that's not an apology. If anybody ever says anything to you, I'm sorry but, or I'm sorry you are,
no offense but
you are, that's not what you're going for here. So I have a family member who's white dating a person who is black, and I always hear comments from the mother when she is talking about him, like, all I could see was his teeth coming at me when I met him. Jesus Christ. Or he's as black as the ace of spades.
Oh, Jesus.
I've said it to her before, and she says she's not racist, she's just commenting on his skin colour. However, when her daughter was dating a white person, she never once commented on his skin colour.
Yeah. It's so true.
You're fucking right there.
Yeah.
You're fucking right
there.
So
true. Yeah, like, you always hear those people saying, I know, but it's just a fact. Like, when it's dark, all I can say is it's just a fact. It's not being racist. It fucking is being racist.
That's not.
Like, don't be commenting. Don't be noticing.
Yeah,
don't be noticing the skin.
That's like her being like, gee, she's very out of breath. Would you say it's because she's fat?
Yeah.
Like, you just Or would you say I just did a 10-mile hike?
Yeah.
No, it's because she's fat.
Yeah,
like,
I had another one on the WhatsApp, and this is an interesting one. I wasn't too sure. Remember I read this before we started recording. Give me 2 seconds there now. Oh yeah. Probably a very unpopular opinion about racism. But I feel that racism will never not be a problem as long as black/foreign people think it's okay to be racist towards white people. Oh, she's cringing. I understand completely that black people especially were repressed, etc. But I've seen a massive increase on Twitter and Instagram of black people calling white people names, accusing every girl that faked hands trying to do blackface. I know girls from the generation below me that fully believe they are entitled to be racist towards black/foreigners if they have been racist towards the white person. Both sides need to drop the name calling, I think. So, what do you think about when a black person says something racist towards a white person?
Why are you asking me?
No, but what do you think of that? Because I was saying, like,
there is no... This is a huge statement. I don't feel, me, myself and I, there is white racism.
Okay. Interesting.
Because we are the majority, like, kind of group for...
So you... Okay.
Very hard.
Let me put it to you in terms of... So, say for... And it's a fucking mad comparison, but... So, say if a skinny person was to slag a fat person.
You slag me now?
Do you think, is it the same thing for a fat person to slag a skinny person? Do you think that's the same thing?
Well, that's a totally different topic.
No, I know, but it's kind of like...
No, you shouldn't be, in any way, you shouldn't be controlled by your weight. I don't think you should be discriminated against by your weight. but that's
no, but you're
not
saying
this.
No,
that's not this.
No, but hear me out. You're saying you don't think that there's any sort of there's no such thing as white racism.
I don't feel like there is. No, I don't think they're comparable at all, Jen. I have to stop you there. I don't feel like they're comparable.
But one is privileged, quote unquote, and one is.
Well, white is privilege.
Yeah.
That's why they call it white privilege. That's why there's fucking MAGA going strong.
I know, but when you're saying white privilege, you're insinuating that they don't have any problems.
No, everybody has problems. That's individual.
No, listen to me. When you talk about a skinny person, people are insinuating that they have no problems either. So, like,
but I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to compare the two. Like, I'm not going to continue on with that conversation. I'm not going to compare those two things because I think that they're incomparable as far as this conversation goes.
All right.
Fair enough. All right, fair enough. But what I will say is that I think that, like, not it's an excuse by white people, but it is an excuse by white people to be like, well, you shouldn't be using mean slagging names for anyone in the world.
No.
You know? Like, you just shouldn't be doing it. You shouldn't be calling Mexican people a certain thing. You shouldn't be calling Latina, like, a certain thing. You shouldn't be calling Polish people a certain... Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You shouldn't be just doing that. So, like, as far... I just don't think they're comparable. But as far as... I just don't think that you... Like... Do you remember I said before in the previous podcast, and I'm not sure if people have watched it yet, but Bob the Drag Queen, I've mentioned it before, it is a really good piece. And he was saying that you were inherently racist by being born white.
Yeah, I remember
now,
you saying that.
Now, it's a big thing, he goes into it, but it makes a lot of sense because of just the way that the world has worked. Mm-hmm. And just the way that the world works, you know? And the way that things are seen. So I do feel like I know what that listener's getting at. It's the kind of, you know, Kendall Jenner getting a lot of flack for braiding her hair, and, you know, people, I think the Kardashians get a lot of it too, where they're like trying to slowly morph themselves into
black culture
and like trying to almost take it on cultural appropriation and all that kind of jazz. Mm-hmm. But people do go too far. As far as fake tanning, I mean, there is some people that go too far with it. Yeah. Do you not feel?
Yeah.
You know, and as far as like...
But I don't think that they're trying to do blackface. I wouldn't go that far.
No, I don't feel like they're trying to go blackface, but there will be...
But that's what that listener is saying. That black people have accused white people of trying to do blackface.
Well, they're trying to...
But that's gone too far. It's not trying to be
blackface is one thing, but they are trying to they are trying to make themselves seem...
Yeah. There was actually Laura's Views, I think, put it up. She was complaining about Dripping Gold's Instagram, put up a post saying tan because no weekend ever started with I'm pale.
Yeah.
She was fuming about that. And
I agree with Laura about a lot of things, but I don't agree with Laura about a lot of things. I will say more about that is kind of like, that's more like a funny Irish thing.
Yeah.
That's how I read it.
Yeah.
I was like, you're fucking dead right, hon.
Yeah.
But I think you can take anything to the extreme.
You really can. That's what I think.
You know, I think you can push anything. And like with that one, I wouldn't have came into my head.
No. I wouldn't make an issue out of somebody. Like, is it hypocritical of me to say I wouldn't make an issue out of somebody saying, oh, you're pale? The same way I wouldn't make an issue out of somebody saying, oh, you put tan on, you're trying to do blackface. I just wouldn't fucking entertain it. I just wouldn't.
Yeah, well, that's you.
You know what I mean?
You know?
I don't, like...
Everybody has their cut-off points, don't they? Everybody has their, like...
I think if somebody tried to accuse me of trying to do blackface by wearing fake tan, I'd be like, fuck off, hon.
I'd be like...
Fuck off.
I'd be like, what tan that, though?
Yes. You know? Like, seriously. I just want...
Did you see my San Moritz disaster?
Yes.
Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, like...
Green face?
Yeah.
Shrek?
Like, fuck off.
So we have a man here.
Okay. Hello, man.
Like, we have a man.
It's a boy.
There's a boy here. He says, I think racism is alive and well in Ireland, but more so in private. I would have good friends who would say racist things about Asians, Brazilians, Polish, etc. to close friends and family, but would be very polite to their face when interacting with them. So yes, racism is alive and well, but more in the down low. Don't know, is that progression of some sort, or just the Irish way of being the new age racist?
Yeah, that's a bit...
How do you feel about that?
I don't know. Obviously it's not right, but is it an unpopular opinion to say not hurting anyone? I know it's the wrong way to be thinking, but at least he's not saying it to anybody's face. It's the same with comedy. because there are so many stereotypical jokes about different races, even against Irish, do you know what I mean? Against white people can't jump, white people can't dance, they're really cringy, you know, all that sort of shit. I think that kind of, like, when it's humorous and it's in a comedy context, I'm on the fence with that.
Okay.
So long as you're not fucking hurting anyone, or you're not going up to screaming at somebody because you fucking hate the colour of their skin or where the country that they're from.
Let me challenge that.
Okay.
Do you not feel, though, that's spreading without even realising it's normalising that behaviour?
Oh, it definitely is.
In a group, in a social situation.
It definitely is. I just don't think it's the worst kind of racism. And I know that that's a very unpopular thing to say.
Yeah.
But I just don't think it's the worst thing you can do in terms of racism. It's still not right. I understand that.
It's not. I mean, lynching would be up
like
there.
That. Oh yeah, absolutely against lynching.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I have to say, I'm really against lynching.
Not a fan. Absolutely not a fan.
Don't think it's right.
No, absolutely not a fan. But I know it is. It does spread the wrong message. Absolutely. But I don't think that's ever going to go away. Like, in terms of making a joke out of something. Do you know what I mean? So long as I
think it could go away.
Do you think so?
Yeah, because, I mean, people have thoughts that they don't say around their friends. Loads.
Yeah.
You know, like, people have, you know, there's a lot of things like that have even sprang to my mind before, and I'm like, well, I'm not saying that. You know, even about little things, wouldn't be about race, or could be about race, or, you know, random things, and you'd be like, well, I'm not fucking saying that, like.
Yeah.
You know?
I get you. Yeah. I'm just thinking, like, in terms of... Oh, but then, like, is it the same when you say it about your own race? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you were talking to your friends and you were, like, slagging off how, say, me, white Irish, say I was in a group of friends and I was spreading negative things about white Irish people. You know, is it the same thing when it's your own race? I'm just thinking of Kevin Hart talking about the fucking funny things that black people do on stage. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's again, it's this kind of thing. It's okay if I call me fat.
Yeah, but you're still spreading the wrong message.
Yeah, well, I mean, I suppose, yeah, do
you know what I mean? So that would be my point there. I just think when it's in a comedy or humorous
but that's
context,
about their own, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You're still spreading the wrong message, so the point of it is spreading the wrong message.
No, but not to each other. Like, I mean, if we're sitting here in a group of white people, that's fine. But we're not bitching about, like, what Asian people are doing. We're not. Do you get me?
Yeah. No, I just think it's a general blanket, though. Do you know?
I wouldn't blank. I don't think.
There is no general blanket.
I don't think that could be blanketed just on the context of you'd be saying one thing about yourselves to a group of people about themselves. Do you get me? It's like the way that black people call each other the N-word.
Yeah.
And it's a very, like, we've spoken about this loads, but it's a very kind of normalised thing in their culture. But it's like, a lot of people have said that's them taking the power back of the word.
Yeah.
You know, which I can totally see. But, like, you know, I can call me a paddy. Like, can an English person who's oppressed me for many years do? You know?
Yeah, you see, this is where
because they mean something else.
Yeah. I'm just... And
there's
also,
badness to it, you know. You wouldn't be talking like that unless there was badness to it.
Yeah. But
like,
say...
especially, like, with the C word.
Yeah. Let me give
when
you...
When it comes to Chinese people.
Let me give you another example.
Yeah.
So, I saw... Rage and I actually didn't save this. So, somebody shared this on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And it was between a white man and a black man on Twitter.
Okay.
And the black man started it. He said something really stereotypical about white people. He was like, imagine being genetically formed to be short. Or something like that. You know, just a very stereotypical thing of a white thing. And then a white man replied to him and said, imagine being genetically formed to be... insert stereotypical thing about black people here.
What was it?
And I can't remember. That's what I mean.
I can't remember.
The two of them were saying really stereotypical things about the white and the black. But this was a full thread, and the two of them were having there must be over 30 tweets between the two.
Were they having banter, or were they having an argument?
No, it was banter.
Oh.
See, where do you stand on that? Do you know what I mean? Because the white one was saying, imagine having to shower every day. And then the black one was saying, imagine not showering every day. You know, like just stereotypical things about the colour of each other's skin, but it was pure banter. By the end of it was like, oh nah man, I have to go, but I have to go back into work, I can't be dealing with this. And he was like, oh fuck it. The other one was like, I can't fucking think about it and else say anyway, I'll say it on another day. Do you know what I mean? It was pure banter between two strangers, one black, one white.
I would say exception.
See?
I would call an exception for that circumstance because both people were fully aware and actively participating.
Yeah.
It wasn't for spectators, it was for each other. Do you get me?
Yeah,
and that's, again, like, racism sometimes is a spectator sport. And that is... That's said on that, but that is kind of what it is sometimes. So I feel like because, you know, not to get very fucking, you know, hyper or whatever about it, but like the two parties understood where they were, the mood, the tone. Yeah. They accepted that. Mm-hmm. The problem would be then somebody getting that thread, blowing it up, retweeting it and being like, how dare this white man,
which
or
is
how
what
dare
I think
this black man.
Did happen on Facebook.
For fuck's sake. Yeah, because I was going to say, how did you see it?
Yeah, it was on, somebody shared that on Facebook. They screenshot the whole thread and put it up on Facebook, and the comments weren't too good, but
like, don't ruin people's fun.
Yeah, like it's fairly obvious what's happening there. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I find it hard to, like, obviously there's exceptions with everything, but I just think sometimes it can be hard to navigate. Like,
but this pod is hard to navigate. That's why we do these things. Like, not because we're fucking. I just find like it interesting. I find this a very interesting topic.
But I feel like this, even this topic in particular, like the two of us are getting riled at each other a few times during this, and it's like, okay, we've never done this during a pod before, but the two of us are getting quite feisty. Not like that, we're not going to box the head off each other around, but we are getting quite passionate about it. It's like, no. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just such a fucking hard topic to navigate, and I'm gonna even shit myself posting this. Like, it's just I don't weird. Like, I don't know.
I think also, I mean, I think even when you put it down to it, it's like, it's context, isn't it? Like, this is a podcast about this. Yeah. You know, the context is we're trying to navigate it together. We're trying to get your opinions. We can't do it. This isn't the podcast of the world. Do you know what I mean? Like, this isn't like the representing, the final word on it. This is just us two gyals giving our unpopular and popular opinions about things. Yeah. That's why we do it, you guys. That's why we do it.
That's why we do it.
So I have another one here. Growing up in Kildare, I can remember one person in colour on my whole secondary school. Defo not enough diversity. I think lack of exposure to other nationalities create natural curiosity, particularly in kids, but racism is a learned behaviour. Nobody is born a racist. I sometimes think cultural appropriation has gone too far. For example, white girls getting braids and black girls getting offended. But then again, I could never understand that as I'm white.
That's it, yeah.
And that's where it kind of boils back down to. And that's, I would go back to the whole... inherently there is no white racism kind of thing, because you just can't, smoke alarm, let's fuck it up.
Let's leg it.
It's done. Let's burn the gaff down. But it goes back to that, isn't it? Like, me and you, like, as I said about the podcast, like, we can never...
No, we'll never know what it's like to be oppressed or left out because of... Or, you know, we'll never know that feeling. But I don't know. What she said there about there only being one black person in our secondary school and there's not enough diversity. What the fuck? Like, and I'm not saying this against that person, but what... Oh, she's cringing. Oh, she's after seeing another message. What the fuck are people supposed to do? Like, we can't just go and cherry pick a load of black people to put into our school. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Also, we have been, like, I've witnessed somebody saying before, don't go into a business where it's only white people working there. Sorry, I work in a place where there's only white people working there. We've never had a black applicant fucking applying for the judge. What do you want us to do? Do you know what I mean? Like, don't support the business because there's no black people. What? Fuck off, will you? Yeah, okay. Do you know what I mean? This is what I mean about people arguing about there not being enough diversity. It's like, well, what the fuck do you want me to do, hon? Do you want me to go out and literally enslave the fucking people? Because I think that's regression. Sorry, hon. Like, I can't deal with the way some people argue over this. Like, do you know what I mean?
I get that. I do get that.
Like, why argue?
What you looking for?
Yeah.
But I think it's more the fact that, like, is that because people didn't feel like they'd be accepted into the culture? Is it because out in like that they were migrating to places where there was more of their community there? You know, because is that what happened in New York? Isn't that basically what happened?
There are pockets,
you know, there's pockets because that's where people felt safe. Like when Irish people immigrated, they went to the Irish ghetto.
Yeah.
When there was Latino people, same situation. They stayed in their community.
Yeah.
Like Irish people like to go to an Irish pub. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But is that like that? Is that not maybe?
I think that
something
is
to think about when you think of that whole like.
I think that definitely is it, and then as well, I think because a lot of people emigrate over here, like they're coming over here and they're, dare I be unpopular to say, they're seeking asylum and they're probably all lamped together as well. I know that's specifically for asylum seekers and people in direct provision, but they are all lamped together.
By the way, I hate that word.
What?
Asylum.
No, I know it's horrible. Yeah, it's really bad. It's
really
so
horrible.
bad.
Yeah.
But in fairness, that people that do come over looking for help from our government because they need to get away from whatever situation they're in their own countries, they are all lamped together. So I feel like they don't really have control over where they go. So I think that's why there are pockets.
But then there is the people that do have control and came here off their free, will.
Yeah.
I mean, most people come here off their free will.
Yeah.
But there is that as well. So you're kind of like, I can see both sides.
Yeah, so can I.
I have another one here.
Okay, the face on you. Is it really bad?
No, I'm just looking at, sorry. The thing is, when we get messages through, I don't read the full thing. I just kind of like have a quick look. I have a scan.
Yeah.
Can't speed read like my father. Must get him to teach me.
Yeah.
But, okay, so, hi girls, loving the podcast. About racism in Ireland, I'd like to know what your view is on racism toward the traveller community. I suppose at the end of the day, they're the Irish ethnic minority, but rarely people have defended them. I'll be straight up and say it grinds my gears to see horses dead at the side of the road from racing sulkies, but nothing can be done because that's their culture. Also, if you're heart of hearts, would you be comfortable sitting in a hotel bar during a traveller funeral? It just annoys me when people say that they're not racist when it comes to every other minority, but I feel deep down almost every Irish is racist towards travellers, and if they're not, have these people ever been in contact with some? Would love to hear your opinion.
Well, like I think I don't know, like we said, there's bad people and good people in every ethnic group. Like I don't base.
Have you had a lot of dealings with travellers?
It's funny because I would have friends who are travellers, settled travellers, who wouldn't fall under the category of what most people think. But then I have had experiences where basically when travellers come into my place of work, they have always stolen. So I've seen both sides of it.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? But like that, I wouldn't blanket every traveller with being bad or being a thief. Same way I wouldn't blanket every Romanian with being a Roma gypsy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's good and bad in every ethnic group. It depends on the situation, I think. Like if I'm faced with a traveller and I know that they don't have good intentions, obviously I'm going to treat them as such. But if I'm faced with a traveller and I know that they're genuine, I'm going to treat them as such. Do you know what I mean? Like it's an individual thing with me.
Yeah, but that would be not even faced with a traveller. That'd be faced with a person.
Faced with anyone.
Yeah.
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 Do you know what I mean? Like it's, I don't know. It's like it's the same when I turn around to say like I have a good few Romanian friends, and when I'm speaking about something that happened like in work or whatever, and I'm speaking to somebody going, oh yeah, well this girl, she's Romanian, she did this, and they're like, oh, she's Romanian. It's like, yeah, calm the fuck down. They're normal people. Do you know what I mean? Like, not all Romanians are Roma gypsies with the long skirts going around fucking robbing the place. Do you know what I mean? It's down to the individual.
Yeah, and I think it is tough, isn't it? Like, I mean, obviously I've not been in a ton of, I say, racist situations. Like, I mean, but I remember this is just one time that stuck to my brain. Like, I was getting the Lewis to Drake with my ginger friend. And this is the reason why this is important is because you'll see now. And one of my other friends who is half Sudanese, half Filipino.
Okay.
And we were just there, and I forget what happened. I don't know how it started, but there was Oh, lovely. There was a group of I cannot remember how it started, but essentially what happened was some drugged up young one was like, fuck you fat bitch, to me, and she was like, you and that fucking N-word and that ginger. I remember being like, oh lovely, you hit all three then.
Wow. Jesus. That's rough.
She was like, you and that N and that ginger. But me and my mate, we obviously were just like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, calm down.
Like my friend Roa at the time, she was just literally like, what? She was literally like, so?
Yeah.
Like she didn't give a fuck. She was literally like, cool dude.
Yeah.
But like that was probably the only, like, where, and I was literally like, Rah!
Yeah.
Know? But that was probably the
kind of racist thing that you've gone through.
Well, that I was directly involved in, I would say. Yeah.
That you've witnessed firsthand.
Yeah. Which goes to show how fucking sheltered I am, you know?
Well, in fairness, I don't think I've been in any racist situations, bar what I see online.
And I think that, like, one thing that I will say is that if you are lucky enough to work with people from different backgrounds, like, there's nothing better than...
firsthand getting
info. Yeah. You know,
that's
like
great.
I worked with 2 different Muslim girls from Bangladesh when I lived in the UK. I worked with a lot of different kind of groups, and I just got so much. Like, I learned so much. And I remember I used to be like, this is brilliant. And they were like, how the fuck do you not know this? And I was like, because we're not exposed to it at home.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was a very normal thing. As I said, I had, like, out of a team of 10, I had 2 girls that were both from Bangladesh, which is shocking, I think. Like, it's not exactly a big place as a Bangladesh. Well, it is big, but you know what I mean.
It wouldn't be the main.
No, it wouldn't be the, yeah, exactly.
Over here from,
and they were like, they taught me about, like, Asian culture and how, like, because I used to always think Asian was white Asian, China, a lot of the stuff. She was like, no, Asian culture is a totally different thing.
Yeah.
So, but I felt like I learned loads, you know?
Yeah.
I felt like I was actually finally, like, getting to be involved with.
Yeah.
You know, and I used to ask them all the time, I'd be like, what's the worst things that people say to you? And it was like, always around their head, like, always like bomber, always around their hijab, always around, like, that kind of thing, always around being Muslim.
Fucking hell.
And like one of them was a very practicing Muslim and one of them wasn't, so it was really interesting. And it was all to do with, like, family and the way that they were brought up and the way that, like, you know, one girl's family was really strict and she was the one who wasn't that Muslim, and then the other girl's family was really chilled and she was more devoted. It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah,
like,
it's weird.
Now that was obviously 2 situations out of fucking millions, but
yeah,
it just, you know, it is what it is. We'll have a look at a couple more from you guys. So I think you read that one, Students of Colour. Racist slurs I hear every day is sickening. I know when a lot of people use words like the N-word, they don't mean in a malicious way, but it's so uneducated. Even those who know its history still choose to use it. It's become so socially acceptable.
The N-word?
Yeah.
Really?
I think it's totally unsocially acceptable.
No, I think, same. I never hear that word.
I never hear that word.
Does she mean in, like, rap and stuff like that, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. There wasn't a lot of expansion on that, so...
Yeah. Well, I've never heard it said...
I have like me and you being like...
You're a black person. We'd never say it either. Like.
Absolutely not. May not be exactly what you're looking for, but brought my 1-year-old to the playground yesterday and he started playing with a little black boy and they were so happy, yet had only met 2 minutes previous. Myself and my boyfriend both said that it's so true that a child doesn't see colour or race. It was so lovely to see 2 little strangers play like that. They knew each other for years.
Yeah.
But that's how it should be, do you know what I mean?
That is, yeah. No, that's what I mean. Yeah, when you were saying
and I totally get, like, thank you for, like, writing that in, because it's a nice little positive story, especially in something that's so dodgy. But what I will say is that, like, when do we get to the point that we're not, like, commenting on, that's lovely, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's this championing of the normality.
I do think we're getting there. We will get there. When I was first... like went into a kind of a school environment, so I was in a little play school in Finglas and my best friend was a little black girl, and not that I can remember back that far. I've seen, like, pictures of my little birthday party and she was always beside me or whatever, but my mum has never said that I was ever like, your skin is different to mine, do you know what I mean? I think it's so true that kids don't see
they don't
colour, but then
it's a learned behaviour.
I have heard, how did I hear this off? Was it a teacher or a neighbour or something like that? But basically when the kids were getting picked up and the parents, like, there was a little white boy and a little black boy in the queue, like waiting to get picked up by their parents, and a black man walked around the corner, and the little white boy turned around and said, "Oh, is that your chocolate dad? Is that your dad? Because he's chocolate coloured skin." So the kid, like, you know,
is that your chocolate dad?
Yeah, is that your chocolate dad? But it's like it's still so innocent, but he could see the difference. But I think it was because the majority of the class was white. Do you know what I mean? So I think in years to come, when every second person is a different colour, it won't be a topic anymore. But I think at the moment, because it's still so new, the majority of people are white. They're going to notice that difference. You just need to know that it's not a big deal. They just need to know, like, that person is still fucking 80% water, same as yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, we're all people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We are all humans.
We are all
But then
humans.
at the same time, there is a lot of, like, badness behind the statement, "I don't see colour."
I think so as well. I think it's
There
important.
is, because it's kind of like, no. You need to see colour because you need to understand, you know, you need to understand a lot about culture and, you know,
Yeah,
that
you do.
kind of
I
thing
think
too.
it's important to see I do think it's important to keep history there and see how important it is to not go back that way. But at the same time, I do wish, like, it wasn't a topic anymore. Do you know what I mean? Really.
I never normally say this, but I do wish we were a little bit more like the UK.
Oh yeah,
Because it's like a fucking different world. It is. It's just like, but why are we so accepting of a black guy with an English accent?
Yeah.
To, like, as you said earlier, like that whole kind of like situation. Why are we? It's just.
I know it is, because even when here's another example of that, because I used to work in a Chinese restaurant, and I was working on the takeaway, but we'd go into the kitchen with the orders sometimes if there was nobody in to take them in or whatever, and all the kitchen staff were Chinese, obviously. And I walked in one day, and one of the chefs had been transferred. They had another restaurant in Tala, and one of the chefs had been transferred over. Again, Chinese. And I went in, and I was like, one of the waiters was like, "Oh, they used to give them all Irish names just because we couldn't pronounce the Chinese ones, whatever way that they were spelled, or, you know, we couldn't pronounce them. Everybody just had kind of Irish names." So I was introduced to this chef as Michael, and I was like, "Oh, hi, how are you? My name is Jen," or whatever. And he just went, "All right, what's the story?" But all of the staff were shocked when he started talking. Do you know what I mean? It's still such a new thing.
Yeah, it's still like what?
So I can't wait for the day when we're like that, like England, where it's just,
it's so normal, like, yeah,
everybody's Irish. Doesn't matter what fucking colour they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right, well, I think we could be here for days, as I said. So I think we'll wrap it up there.
Navigate,
because I'm off to Tomorrowland tomorrow.
Yeah, she needs to get ready.
And I booked it yesterday, so...
Yeah, she's a bit unprepared. Next week we're going to be talking about notions.
Notions in the ocean.
Notions in the oceans. What are your opinions? What are the biggest notions that you see?
And you're like, what a fucking notion.
What a fucking notion. Seriously. Yeah. Give us examples of what you've seen.
Ireland,
give us examples
worldwide.
Of shit that you hate. Stuff that you see these days that you would have never seen back in the day.
What do you feel is gone too far?
Yes, absolutely. Get in touch with us on WhatsApp 085 725 2127, or DM us on Insta, The Unpopular Opinion 2019. Anything else to say, Carla, before I press the space bar?
I'm still your fur.